Yo guys, what's going on? This is Yoki Man here, and welcome to this first episode of the Project PSV save. The Project PSV save is a save I've been doing over on Twitch, and this will be seasonal updates here on this channel so that you guys can catch up maybe on something you've missed, also see how we're getting on with PSV if you just want to keep track of it over here on YouTube. The idea behind it was not mine, it was Dan's. He came up with the idea, I think, after Gertz went to PSV, and if we're being honest, PSV have been pretty woeful in Europe, and actually been very poor in the league of recent years, so it's time for us to turn that around. Build a good, strong, young core. We're going to go with the same rule that I find a lot of Dutch teams do, is bring in great young talent, and eventually you sell them on for big money. That's how the club kind of keeps on ticking around, and that's kind of how we're going to play this. But without further ado, let's get in to see how we got on in season number 1 here with PSV. So as you can see, a little bit of the history here of PSV. They have won a Champions League and a Europa League. They've also won 24 Eredivisie, 9 Dutch Cups and 11 Super Cups. PSV have been a very good side, let's be honest, over the years. A team that I know about and I think a lot of people will know about, as well as Ajax and PSV, Feyenoord, some of the bigger teams in Dutch football. But as you see, since they won the tournament in 2017-18, they've kind of dropped off a little bit. And, okay, it's not a major drop-off, but after finishing second, it declined even more last year to 4th. So we've come in to try and turn that around. I also am been made aware that they haven't done massive amounts of things in European football recently. So there's a lot for us to turn around here. So let's just first of all look at how we got on this season, where we finished with the team that we've got. We'll also go through all the transfers and how the team fared this year. So as you can see, initially we managed to finish second in the league this year. Now it was a good Eredivisie league season for us. We do not want to look at the third round, please. I would like the league table. It was a good season for us. Actually, in reality, the 2 defeats that Ajax had were against ourselves. We beat them twice this season, 3-2 in the home game and 2-1 in the away game. So there's some great results there for us. Our biggest downfall here in season 1, let's bear in mind we only lost 1 game all season, was the issue of the draws. 7 draws this year, a 0-0 against Heracles, Emmen, Utrecht, Heerenveen. Feyenoord not too bad, Willem 2 and Emmen again. We didn't beat Emmen all year. That's a problem. We need to turn the draws around, and the only game we lost was against Groningen. Surprise, surprise. Very early into the season, but still we lost to them. So the issue that we're finding at the moment is that against these smaller teams, we're struggling to break them down. That was a problem for us this season. It's something we're going to look to rectify next season, because without all these draws, we, without a doubt in my mind, would have won the league. We did the hard job of taking down Ajax twice, but we didn't do the rest by beating those teams around us. But nonetheless, first season in the job, they finished 4th last season. We got them to finish 2nd. It will give us a qualifying place for the Champions League. We will have to make it through that qualification knockout stage, but it does put us in that position for Champions League football. So that's great news for the club, and the board were pretty happy with me with that result. But we played in the Europa League this season. How did we get on in that? Well, we started off very interestingly, to be honest with you. We drew our way into the group stages through the qualification rounds. It was very, I don't know, it was really interesting because we drew our way in, winning on penalties twice. Imagine all this is going on stream. If you don't follow me on Twitch and you do like Football Manager content or just want to hang out with me in general, we are playing some Cyberpunk as well at the moment. The link will be down below. But yeah, so we drew our first 2 games to get through on penalties. And then we played against Midtjylland and we drew again. And then we played against Sparta Prague and we drew again. And then we played against Zoria and we drew again. So a theme was really starting to collect here. We're definitely draw specialists. And there's nothing wrong with that, but you need to win games to get through the Europa League. So it was touch and go in the group stage, I have to be honest with you. We then beat Zoria 7-1, and at 7-1 you're thinking to yourself, that's it now. We've turned it around in Europa League, and we lost to Midtjylland. So luckily for us, on the last day, we did beat Sparta Prague 3-0, which gave us a result to get out of the group. And luckily for us, because of how tight the group had been, we got out of the group top. But as you can see there, we got out on 9 points. Midtjylland had 7, Sparta Prague had 7, and Zoria had 6. So on the last day, it was all up to play. It was all up to play. Luckily for us, we got the job done. In the first knockout round, we drew Lille, and I have to be honest with you, at this stage, I'm thinking in my head, my big brain of mine, I'm actually happy that we've got this far. Lille's a very rough draw for us to get. They're a very good side. I really like them, and then we went away and beat them 5-1. Don't know how it happened, but I'll take it. We beat them 5-1 and then 2-0 at home, and it was a very comfortable route through after the first knockout round. We make it to the second knockout round, because there's a lot of knockout rounds here in the Europa League. We drew Roma, and at this stage, again, I'm having that thought process of, this is okay, this is probably where it ends for us. You'll see a theme that we got hard ties every time. We did not get an easy route to where we got to in the Europa League. It was difficult games. But after we managed to demolish Roma, we didn't. We beat them 4-0 at home, and then we lost 2-0 in the away leg. But luckily for us, we did the business at home. We would then draw against Leicester, and I thought this was again, this is where the buck stops. It's over now. We're done and dusted. We beat them 2-1 and 2-0, and I was mightily impressed with my team's performance. At this stage, the team was really kicking up to a new gear, and then it meant that we took on Porto. Porto were looking very good in the competition this year. The first game away was frustrating for me in terms of us playing it, because there were a few moments in the game, as you see, 7 shots on target there from ourselves, where I really felt like if we'd have just got one, the game would have been completely different. Unluckily for us, Marega went through. He was very physical, very strong, and a little bit of a beast. And they managed to beat us 2-0 in the first leg. And it was frustrating because, again, I felt like if we took our chances, this would have been a different tie. So coming into the home leg with it all to play for, surely we were going to go for the game. And we did just that. 16 shots, 8 on target, XG of 1.72. And again, we fall short. They scored early doors on the counter. They didn't really have much to offer in this entire game. Wu Lee scoring for us in the 52nd minute, but we just could not take our chances. And that was really the story of this game against Porto. And the reason why we didn't make it to the final is in both legs, our side just did not take our chances, and unfortunately in the end we'd be knocked out at the semi-final round against Porto. I was more than happy, considering the teams we'd come up against, that we even made it to the semi-finals. Bit of a similar feeling in the Dutch Cup. We got 2 easy games to get us to the semi-final, but in the end we drew against Ajax, and Ajax were definitely out for revenge. We beat them twice this year in the league, and they really wanted to do us over. They did just that. 2-1 victory for Ajax. It was a close game as per usual. Every time we've played Ajax, it's been a very close game, but they were better than us. At the end of the day, that's all that mattered. They were better than us on the day, and unfortunately for us, we didn't do the job. Pato scoring for us and David Neres scoring for them. So instantly, you've heard 2 names already here that you've not heard at PSV before. So let's talk about them, but we will kick it off by talking about that man himself, Alexandre Pato. Alexandre Pato was a free transfer this year, and to be honest with you, a bit of a nostalgic one for me. I was always a fan of him. I know he didn't always do the job. A little bit, to me, of a Robinho, where he could have been great, but he just wasn't. And 30 years of age is when we signed him. And I looked at his attributes and I thought, do you know what? He's actually really good. I'm going to bring him in as our backup striker. Lo and behold, we resurrected the man's career. 27 games that he started. He scored 18 goals, 4 assists, an XG of 14. So, I mean, wow. 4 man of the matches as well. We resurrected Alexandre Pato's career, to be honest with you. And for a free transfer at the start of the season, he was absolutely fantastic for us. I really enjoyed using him. One of my favourite players I've used already on this year's game, massively for the nostalgia effect. But do you ever sign someone for nostalgia? They come in and just don't do it? He did it. He did the job, and consistently, and impressed me. Also mentioned was Wu Lee. We signed him for 1.5 million. I've got to be honest with you, I signed him for the money on the shirt sales. I'm not going to lie, and obviously all the extra viewers tuning in from China. But he was actually a fairly decent player for us. In 17 appearances that he started, 8 off the bench, he did get himself 10 goals, 3 assists. So he wasn't a bad player for us. Average rating of 7.04. I've never used him before. When I saw him on sale for 1.5 million, I thought, do you know what? We'll make that back just in shirt sales. He didn't demand a ridiculous wage, although we paid more for a backup than I would have wanted to. I thought it was a worthwhile signing. Sometimes you're going to get players like this that are a bit older, that you know you're going to make money off from shirt sales, that actually will bring something to the squad as well, and he certainly did. Those 10 goals were important. Now, the signing of the season in this one, and signed at the start of the save, is Roberto Gagliardini, and I'm a huge fan of this man, and I could not believe that we managed to pick him up for 6.5 million from Inter Milan. My team. I cannot believe that they let him go for that cheap. I mean, he's already valued at 14.5. Yes, he was a fairly high wage at the time, but nowhere near what we're paying Mario Götze. And without a doubt, was a key performer this season. Now, when I go into a team and I assess the squad and I look at them, the first thing I saw at Ajax was they had no real strength. No one who was just going to kick people in the midfield. That kind of player who had huge work rate, was a decent, just give me the ball back kind of player. This is the man that came in to do that job. He played the majority of games this season, as you see, 39 appearances, and he was unbelievable. What a fantastic signing. I don't think we'd have got to where we are now if we hadn't have picked him up. So after the first half of the season, I noticed very quickly that at centre-back, really, we was weak. I was playing Hendrick as a centre-back, who, to me, is definitely not a centre-back and more of a ball-playing midfielder, and I also played Rosario at centre-back as well. And that just wasn't good enough for me, so I needed to sign myself a couple of centre-backs. Now, Luis Abraham is a player who I've looked at several times. I'm sure you guys have probably heard of him. If you haven't, he always goes for cheap, the Peruvian, and he's a fantastic centre-back, as you can see already from his attributes. He came in and played 24 games for us with an average rating of 7.22. Fantastic. What is really good about him as well is the fact that he's a left-sided centre-back. He's a centre-back with a left foot. It's rare. It is very, very rare, and I was extremely excited. But I'm not sure he would have done as well without his partnership. And what did we pay for him, actually? Let's double check. 1.5 million there for him as well. And his partner in crime, right beside him, was Bennett Badiashile. And he is an absolute beast. He's a physical monster on this year's game. He was on last year's game. And he's a fantastic player to have in the club. 6'4", but still fairly agile. I was just excited to bring him in. When I saw the price, as you can see, he's already valued at 16.25 million. We paid 7.25. And I'd sold some players on, so we had a little bit of cash, and I thought, I need a centre-back that's going to be the future of this PSV side for the next few seasons to come. And this was the man. Instantly, this was the man. I never really fully got to use him in the past. I've got to use him in parts, but never got to see him progress. He's a model citizen as well, which is something that I like, but he's just, you'll have used him. He's great. And if you haven't used him, go and pick him up, because they really undervalued him, in my opinion. And we've got ourselves a monster there in defence. And when you look at what he's valued at already, in the next 3 seasons, I have no doubt whatsoever that teams are going to come in for him. We're going to have tons of competition for him, and we'll probably lose him. But I'm telling you, we're going to make an absolute fortune in profit off of him, because he's going to go for 50 plus million, without a doubt. Great player, and was a rock at the back for us. Towards the back end of the season, where we had Abraham and Badiashile as our back line, and this is when we played those big European games as well. I genuinely think those two were a big key to us doing as well as we did in Europe this year. And that was it really for players coming in, if we're being honest. Ethan Laird is a man I'm a fan of. If you ever watched the 20 series, which you probably didn't, but if you did, I signed him there and I loved him. I thought he was a brilliant player, fantastic for me. So we brought him in on loan again for Manchester United, and I'm sure I'll try and loan him back again for next season. I signed Leif Davis on loan from Leeds just because I'm a Leeds fan, and you know, why not? But he got recalled very quickly by Bielsa. The same with Lunin. We brought in Lunin because I wasn't overly happy with our goalkeeper situation, but the goalkeeper that we had did fairly well that season, and Lunin didn't get a look in. Oriol Busquets as well. He's a fantastic player, but the problem is we had Van Ginkel, and Van Ginkel just, he got the start over him. Van Ginkel was just better than him at this stage in time. Is he someone I'd look at in the future? Definitely, because I think Barcelona massively undervalue him as the seasons go on. They tend to just let him go on a free, so we've definitely got back in for him. Now, the big thing is, did we make some money this year? And we certainly did make some money this year. Rosario going for 8 million, Ryan Thomas left us, Mario Jr., Zahavi. The Zahavi needed to go. Nick Vigavera. Yeah, nailed it. You know I nailed that. So, yeah, we sold some players on as well and didn't really spend masses, in my opinion. The two big money signings were Gagliardini and Badiashile, who were starters, who came into the first team instantly. Neither of them over 40 grand per week. I thought we did very good business in the transfer window. It's somewhere where I really enjoy the game, is building the team and doing the transfers. I've never been a tactical genius. I know enough to get by. But when I'm building a squad, I really enjoy having like a mindset of how we're going to build it. And we built it very well this season. The team played fantastically. We don't want this. We want the my custom view. And let's just take a quick look at how the team got on this year then, boys. Donald Marlin, sign him, snap him up. He's an absolute beast. Arsenal, you're missing him now. He got 21 goals this season, and he played on the left wing, might I add. He didn't play up top. Marlon got 21 goals and top goal scorer from left wing this year with 4 assists. You've got Pato just behind him, and then this lad, Mads. Unfortunately for us, he's broken his left ankle, which is going to be really detrimental to him. Hopefully it doesn't affect his attributes too much going forward, but he's going to be a huge loss to the side. There's no doubt about that. But again, I'm just a huge fan of him. He's a fantastic player. He's English, and I've just got high hopes for him. He was fantastic this year on the game for me. He really was. And that shows with his 17 goals and 8 assists. Romero, I've got to say this, I didn't like him. When I looked at his attributes, I thought, I'm not too keen on Romero. One of my viewers, Thompson, said, you've got to play him, Yorkie. You got to play him. He was brilliant. 17 goals this season. Looking forward to more from him next year. Wu Lee with 10 and 3 assists. Mohamed Ilhan. He's slowly been bedding into the team. I took it very slowly with Mohamed this year. I don't want to rush him. I know he's a brilliant player, but we've eased him in. We've tried to get the best this year out of Mr. Mario Götze. Didn't work. 7 assists, so that's not bad. But only 1 goal. And if we can sell him on, I think we will look to sell him on. But yeah, I mean, overall, we've got a fantastic side. It'll be keeping hold of them. Players like Denzel Dumfries, please stay, Denzel, please stay. And a few of the others, Donald Marlin, I don't know how long we can fend off the Sharks that are going to be circling around trying to sign him. And it's been a really good season. Youngster of the year for me, and it probably should be one of the other guys, probably should be Nonny. But this guy was just sat there. He was just sat there in the under-18s, doing absolutely nothing. I spotted him. I thought, I'm going to give you an opportunity. Came in and scored 5 goals. I actually gave him way more game time than I ever expected, just because of that. And he felt reliable when he came on that left-hand side. So definitely one to look out for the future. And one for you guys maybe, because he's probably pretty cheap on your guys' save. So one for you guys to look out for in the future as well. But anyway, guys, I've got to go now. I'm going to go watch Leeds Man United. I hope you guys enjoyed this season review. I'm going to be doing it for every season of these stream saves, I imagine. I think it's good for you guys to have a place to catch up. Plus, I enjoy making these videos for you. As you can see there, we have some beautiful new kits done by Dan. I think he's working on some more for Season 2. If you want to come and hang out and check out Season 2, as well as some other content over there on Twitch, please click the link down below. Follow me. We're nearly at 1K over there, which is like... blows my mind how we're doing. I'm really enjoying this journey in content creation. I've got to be honest with you, it's a little bit kickstarted by the fact that the world is on fire right now. And that leaves me with the message of, if you don't see any more content until after Christmas because you're busy, you're doing whatever you can, you're trying to do whatever you can to spend Christmas as happy as possible. I appreciate all the support this year, boys, and this little run-in that we've had. Thank you very much. You've made this lockdown far more bearable for me by me putting this content out, and you guys just really reacting so positively to it. I really do appreciate that. I hope you're all staying safe. My DMs will always be open for anyone. I may not be quick at replying, but I always will reply. Guys, we will get through this rough time together. I appreciate you all. Take it easy. I'll see you at the end of Season 2.